Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps is one of the motorsport's world's most storied venues. The home of the Belgian Grand Prix, the 24 Hours of Spa, and the Spa 1000. Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, also known as Spa, has long been recognized as a supreme test of courage and skill. Spa's roll call of winning drivers reads like a history book of Grand Prix sports car racing. Michael Schumacher, Pedro Rodriguez, Jimmy Clark, Joe Seifert, Jackie Ickx, Henry Pescarolo, Juan Manuel Fangio, Senna, Gurney, Ascari, just to name a few. Spa has seen many variations over the years. Designed in 1920, the circuit originally ran for some 15 kilometers over public roads through Belgium's Ardennes Forest, connecting the hamlets of Francorchamps, Malmedy, Stavelot, near the resort of Spa. The elimination of a hairpin turn in the valley of Eau Rouge Creek later shortened the circuit by about a kilometer and added to its already fearsome speeds. While Spa lacked the long straights of Le Mans or Monza, with the exception of the famed La Source hairpin, it was comprised exclusively of fast, sweeping curves where speeds seldom fell below 100 miles an hour. Those speeds peaked in the early 1970s when Pedro Rodriguez won the 1970 Belgian Grand Prix at an average speed of 149.94 miles per hour, and Henry Pescarolo set a lap record of 163.086 during the 1973 Spa 1000. With growing safety concerns, the circuit was reconfigured to its current 4.3-mile layout in the 1980s. The revised circuit retains much of the flavor of the original course and, indeed, many of its signature turns, including La Source, Blanchimont, and the daunting Eau Rouge. As well as the new Spa features a demanding purpose-built section that sweeps down a valley through the fast Pouhon curve and the Campus S bend before rejoining the old circuit near Blanchimont. Tonight, it's round 4 of the PFR Sports Car Series, and it's next on HBR TV. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Spa for the Autism Sprint to Awareness 200. AutismSpeaks.org putting this one on here tonight. Thank you guys all for joining us. Qualifying already underway. Let's not waste too much time. We'll take a look at the race details coming into tonight. Of course, a 1-hour sprint race, 66-degree air temperature, 61% humidity, beautiful clear skies. Great day for a race. Here early morning, about 8 a.m., was the start of practice. Terry Crouch, fastest in that session. Flo Doms is going to be quick as well, but don't forget he's going to have to go to the back. But let's get down to it here, see where everybody's stacking out here in qualifying. In fact, let's check on Terry Crouch right now. Crouch might be on a flyer right now. No time locked in just yet with anybody for that matter. We're already 4 minutes into this session. Qualifying set for 3 laps or 15 minutes, whichever comes first. Single car, so no traffic to deal with. Terry, a 2:03.89 for his first time by. Chris Pio on the track as well. Pio just starting his lap. Finished his last time was a 2:05.15, so he's second quick thus far. No times in GT just as of yet. Calvin Levy driving the 930 Porsche. This might look very familiar to those of you that follow the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Series. I don't know if it's the same paint scheme or just a variation of it. No, there was definitely a dinosaur-themed paint scheme Porsche at the Glen just a couple of weeks ago. Elliott Hellier goes P1 in qualifying, 2 minutes 16.686. You see the delta between the LMP2s and the GT cars. It's about 13 seconds at its best. Speaking of Elliott Hellier, he will need to go to the rear as well here at the start. So win penalty. Going to get the EOL at the beginning. This way he doesn't go out and run away with the season and win every race. Same goes for Flo Doms, as we mentioned. He'll have to go to the back for his win last week. 2 weeks ago, that is. Meanwhile, Terry Crouch, he goes even faster, 2:03.89 for the 59. Just trying to drive that dagger deeper and deeper. Mike Hamlin in the Mercedes. Hamlin currently second fast on the GT board, about a full second slower than Hellier, at least for the time being. Mike moving right along. Looks like it could be a good lap here into that final chicane. Back to the power. One more hard right-hander to go before it gets back to the stripe. Hamlin does not gain speed here. 2:18.38 was his lap time. Haven't seen Flo Doms take a lap in qualifying as of yet, at least not officially. Looks like he's moved around. He is on the track. I don't know if he's just using this as a little bit of an extra practice session. Again, he does have to go to the back. Let's ride on board with Flo for a moment. Terry Crouch goes faster yet again, 2:03.62. Puts about almost 9/10 on second place Chris Gennarelli. And it's Sean Roberts, Chris Pio, Brandon Domain. To be fast here at Spa, it's all about high commitment. So many opportunities to gain or lose time. Effectively 19 corners to concern yourself with. See where Flo clocks in here, gonna cross start finish. Flo goes P2, 81 thousandths of a second off Terry Crouch's time. Still 5 minutes remain in the session. Terry has gotten his 3 laps in. His attempt is over. Now it's just a matter of will that time stand. Elliott Heller, same thing. 2 minutes 16.686. Mike Hamlin, a full second slower than that. He's all done, looks like it. He's got 2 laps in. David Seats across the stripe to finish his 3rd lap. 2:18.12 for David Seats. Rob Campbell sits 4th for now. Does he improve? He does. A little bit faster on the time. No improvement on the standings. Still sits 4th. Brian Zinn in the Porsche. I gotta say, Germany well represented here in the GT category tonight. It's just about everybody in a BMW, a Mercedes, or a Porsche. I think we got 1 Ferrari out there, and that's Josh Heggie. Heggie sits P5 in GT. Three minutes left in the session. Again, even at your fastest, it's a 2-minute lap and some change. 2:03 for Terry Crouch, that is. Can't waste a whole lot of time. You really got to get out there. Of course, you're going to burn a couple of minutes on the out lap. Runs a little wide. Don't know if he'll get the off track for that. Heavy braking down into the chicane. Missed that final corner. Really got to get it down to the inside curve there for a good apex. Across the line, Brian Zinn. Does he pick up? A little faster, about 300ths quicker than his best. 2 minutes 18.37. Gabriel Crozier hasn't checked in for a lap just yet. He's got to make it happen here soon, though. 1.5 left. I don't know if he's taking the green or not. Seems to be hustling out there, so this could be his one and only timed lap as he's going to get back to the line, though he may have time once he starts that next lap to complete it. Officially 15-minute session, but they usually allow a little bit more time to finish up your existing laps. Crozier goes P10, 2:05.81. Officially, that's going to wrap up the session. And bear with me, folks. I just got to reload the overlay here real quick. There we go. Okay, well, it's that quick, that simple. Let's get to it. Let's take a look at our starting grid for tonight's round 4 here at Spa. Well, it's not the Lone Star Racing GT3 Series anymore. It's the PFR Sports Car Series. We'll get that fixed, too. I don't know why it did that, but nonetheless, who cares? Pole position, it's Terry Crouch with the TLDR Sims Board entry, 2 minutes, 3 seconds, .621. Teammate Flo Doms qualifies outside pole, 81 thousandths of a second off, but he will have to go to the rear at the start. Row number 2 in the 3rd position, it's going to be Chris Generelli, flanked by the 66 of Sean Roberts. Chris Pyle rolls from P5, 6 goes to Brandon Domain. Oleg Vorotnik is P7, 8th goes to Ryan Flanagan. 9th starter Andrew Locke, 10th goes to Gabriel Crozier, 11th James Coulibaly. Kevin Blue starts 12th, and the last starter in the LMP2 field. On the pole in GT, also going to the back, it's Elliot Hellier. Outside front row, which will be Mike Hamlin, he'll start P1 effectively in GT. Row number 2 in GT, Dave Seats and Rob Campbell. Row 3, Josh Heggie, Mike Piazza, Brian Zinn. Corey Maxim in row 4. Row 5, Rob Henry, Daniel Clark. Row 6, Calvin Levy, Travis Stevens, Nick Batista, and Joe Tucker in row 7. Row 8 goes Dalton Powell, Jesse Redding. And last but not least, shotgun on the field, it is Drew Perel. It's your starting grid here from Spa. Field likely starting to roll here in just a moment. There we go. Field starting to move here. Shortened parade lap. I'm going to spend too much time waiting for these guys to get heat in those tires. Elliot Hellier going to the back. Again, Flo Doms will be at the back of his category. It's by class in this league. It's going to be a fun one to watch. See if Doms can work his way back through the field here. See if he can catch and put the challenge on to Terry Crouch. He's going to have to make work of this field very quickly to catch up to that number 59 of Terry Crouch. Well, here we go. We're not going to waste any time. The Porsche iRacing safety car about to pull off. We're going to take the green flag here in just a moment.
Green flag.
Green flag in the air. We're racing from Spa. GT getting underway as well. They take the green. Out front, Sean Roberts has taken the top spot real quick and real early from Terry Crouch. We'll see how long he can hold him off. Getting a word here that also Brandon Domain may have crashed on that start. We'll go back and take a look at that briefly in a moment. But meanwhile, we're going to watch this battle between Roberts and Crouch. Right on board with Sean Roberts right now. For the time being, Roberts holding off to 59. Terry's no slouch. He's also not a dummy. He's going to take care of his stuff. We know we got an hour to get this race in, so he's not going to push too hard too early. Hard on the brakes, into the chicane for the first time. Roberts runs a little bit wide, but it sets him up better for the left-hander on exit. Crouch is going to tuck in behind. He is right there, just waiting for an opportunity. Chris Generelli, the number 19, back in P3. Roberts out of the final corner. Up through Eau Rouge another time. 2 minutes, 10 seconds the first lap. Certainly not the pace we're going to see what we saw in qualifying. Ooh, we thought Terry was going to look to the inside. Sean closes the door. I don't know if he's blocking or breaking the draft. Either way, I'm sure Terry Crouch is going to get frustrated with it. Looks to the inside, into turns 5 and 6. Didn't I say Terry was going to not be aggressive? Maybe I was wrong. Terry doesn't need to push too hard unless he's just trying to build a gap between himself and Flo Doms. Sean Roberts, though, doing a good job leading this race. We ride on board currently with Terry Crouch in the second spot. Battle in GT, Dave Seitz is currently your race leader over Mike Hamlin and Brian Zinn. Seitz with a 1.7 second advantage over P2 Mike Hamlin. Sounds like Terry might be out of the throttle just a bit. Had a big slipstream, didn't want to take advantage. He goes to the inside in the chicane, tries to outbrake the 66. Not quite enough, has to tuck back in behind. Oh, goes wide is the 66 of Roberts. Terry might get clear here. If he does, he's gonna have to outbrake him hard into the right-hander. Terry Crouch back to the point here on lap 2, coming to complete lap 2. Checking on GT once again. Dave Seitz, your race leader over Mike Hamlin and Calvin Levy. Hamlin in that maroon and black Mercedes. Calvin Levy in that green ferocious Porsche. Checking back with Flo Doms. Remember, he had to go to the rear of the LMP2 field. He's already up a couple of positions into P8. Checking in on Andrew Locke. Andrew running in 9th. Oh! Little oversteer, quite a bit. He gets into the tire pack. That's in through turns 13, I believe. And then he gets the inside wall again. That's going to do it, I think, for the 23 of Andrew Locke. Big impact. Let's look at it again here. From the aerial shot. Just got on the power a little too much, and it over-rotates. Low downforce setting here. That's not going to help things. Tough break for Andrew Locke. Let's go back through here. Let's look back at the start. Remember, we talked about Brandon Domain possibly having an issue as well. A little bit of contact. Ooh, big time contact. Hard crash into the tire pack for Brandon Domain. That's going to require a tow and a fast repair for sure. Flo Doms possibly having an issue early on. It wasn't a big one because he's working his way back through. Let's take a look at it. Oh, just over rotates that final corner. No harm, no foul, doesn't hit anything. Gathers it back up, continues on. He's hurt his pride and his track position. Other than that, should be good to go. Checking on Sean Roberts. Remember, he was leading this race for a time. He has slipped all the way back into the 9th position in LMP2. Not sure what happened. Let's see if we can find it. Not 100% sure this was it, but let's take a look. It says an off track here for Roberts. And there it is. Yeah, it gets the left sides in the grass. Not a major incident, but definitely going to cost the 66 a ton of time. Started this thing off with a bang. Took the lead from Terry Crouch right off the start. Didn't keep it very long, but was in a good position. But now he's again mired back in the 9th spot. Change for the lead here. We've got someone off. I think it was David Seitz. Indeed, it was the race leader. The smoke just starting to clear. Don't know if there was a mistake made or some contact. The car looks pretty clean. So Mike Hamlin is taking over the top spot in GT3. Let's see what happened with David Seitz. So just a moment ago, gets on the brakes too hard. Maybe too much rear brake bias in that Mercedes. Again here from the chopper or the blimp. Yeah, let's see if he gets the right side a little too far on the curb. No, not really. Just too much rear brake. Stabs the brakes, possibly. Hard to say. He does a great job keeping it out of the Armco. Drives it wide. Paved runoff in that part of the racetrack, so that's a benefit to him as well. He's certainly going to burn up those Michelin sliding through it, though. Gets back in it. We'll see if he can run these guys back down. So Mike Hamlin now your new race leader in GT3. Second place, the Porsche of Rob Campbell. And then look who's running third, started dead last. It's Elliott Hellier. On a charge in the BMW, not wasting any time, only 10 minutes in. He's gone from worst to third. Terry Crouch having a short off track. Might have been just getting over the line a bit. Let's take a look to be sure, see what happened with the 59. Yep, just a little wide. Terry still with a pretty significant lead over Chris Generelli, just over 3 full seconds. And then it's 5 seconds to Ryan Flanagan. Flo Dom's actually all the way up into the P5 already, 10.9 seconds back. That deficit can be made up. We've got just about 48 minutes and change left in this race. Plenty of time. Corey Maxim, he's got a win on the season here. He's running back 19th overall, 10th in GT. Close battle between him and the Ferrari of Joshua Heggie. position over the Ferrari. Down the Kemmel straight. Got a Porsche battle starting to shape up just ahead of them as well. That's Travis Stevens and Brian Zinn. About half a second between these two. Stevens starting to put a little more distance on Brian Zinn. Daniel Clark in the Brumos 59 Porsche. Oh, we got somebody off. Is it Brian Zinn? It is. This just near Blanchimont. Wonder if Brian just went wide and then lost the back of the car. Well, let's get a look at it, see what happened here with Brian Zinn. Yeah, a little too much wheel into it. Didn't even really go wide, never touched the outside curbing. He's going to make pretty significant contact with the barrier. I'm surprised the car is not more damaged than it is. Brian Zinn comes to a stop in the pits. Got to wonder if this could work out. They do have a fast repair that they can use. He was lucky enough not to have to tow. Curious if it's too early or not to kind of short pit the rest of the field, kind of work the pit strategy backwards. Doesn't change tires, or did he? No, he was up on jacks. So Brian's in, down and away. We'll see what he can do if he can recoup any of this. Meanwhile, out front, Mike Hamlin still with the lead, but for how long? Rob Campbell all over him. Speaking of all over him, this battle is for first, second, and third. Hamlin, Campbell, and Hellier. Hellier all over the back bumper of the Porsche with Lunatic Racing. Rob Campbell, he's going to have to defend hard here. It's not any longer a battle for the lead. It's a battle for survival and maintaining that second spot. To the outside. Hellier hard on the brakes. Trying to go the long way around. Doesn't have enough to do it. Campbell was trying to take a look to the inside on Mike Hamlin there. I don't know if that was a great plan or not. It may just open the door for the BMW in behind, but top three in GT, that's the battle we're watching right now. Mercedes, Porsche, BMW. All we need now is some mustard, and we've got ourselves a sandwich. Maybe a little bratwurst. We'll figure it out. Yeah, it was a bad joke. I tried. Hamlin's maintaining it, though. Campbell still in second. Hellier still in third. I'm really surprised Hellier hasn't put the pressure on harder than he has. Again, it is still pretty early. He's looking wide, though. There's that pressure we talked about. It's an interesting place to try and make a pass. I don't know if he's just trying to get in the head of the Porsche. Oh, connection issue for Hamlin just for a moment. Want to duck away from this battle just yet, but the update, the LMP2, Terry Crouch still your leader over now. Ryan Flanagan up into the second spot, 5.3 seconds back from the 59. Now looking back, I don't know if Hamlin made a mistake, which was what allowed Campbell to close the gap so significantly. When we cut to this battle initially, all three of these drivers were on top of each other, Campbell especially, all over the back bumper of the Mercedes. But now Hamlin's back into a rhythm here, starting to get some distance between himself and that Porsche, but Campbell is having to contest with the BMW of Hallier. Keep looking in your mirror. It can throw off your laps just a bit. You miss your braking points, you miss your turn in by just a little bit here, just a little bit there. Does add up. Hamlin still with a 0.6 of a second advantage over Campbell. Hamlin certainly got the setup for the slower section of the race course. He loses a little bit of time down the Kemmel Straight, so maybe a little more downforce built into that Mercedes compared to these other two. As he's into the twisty sections here, he's already starting to pick up the pace and gain a little bit more between himself and second and third. And what could make this battle more interesting? Well, that's the class leader, the overall leader, Terry Crouch, bearing down on these top three drivers in GT. See him coming into the frame here in just a minute. Terry Crouch makes short work of the BMW. Not a lot of space to overtake here, but he goes to the inside on Campbell. Sticks to the outside, plenty of downforce on that LMP2. There's 2 spots down. And again, short work of GT leader, Mike Hamlin. So Terry Crouch successfully through the GT field. He continues to lead here. 20 minutes down, 40 minutes to go. We're going to go HBR TV side by side. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Spa, pit stops underway, just about complete. GT cars completing their pit service. Couple of LMP2s down pit lane. Sean Roberts looks like he's going to be out for a little while. Remember, he had to hit pit lane early. Came down in lap 6. Gabriel Crozier still in the pit lane, though. He's been there a while. 47 full seconds. Don't know if he had a penalty on entry. But I'll tell you right now, things will be getting interesting here before this one is over. We're 25 minutes in. Yes, Terry Crouch, TLDR SimSport, still with the race lead. But for how long? Flo Dom's up into that second spot. Neither one of these drivers have made their pit stop yet either, so it could come down to strategy, but I think it's going to come down to raw pace between these two drivers. Again, teammates, remember back at Monza, the first race of the season, these guys were running away with it. Slight mistake by, I think it was Terry Crouch. Flo gets into the back of the 59 as he comes down pit lane. Ended poorly, really, for both drivers in that initial race. Again, there's a throwaway. You get one drop in this series, which is nice. Terry and Flo, really your top three drivers. I think it's the 19 of Gennarelli there as well. All three of these LMP2s in pit lane. Crouch is down and away. Flo drops the jacks. He takes off, and I'd be willing to bet Gennarelli's not too far behind. Nope, he lights him up too. Flanagan gets on by, though, after he finishes his pit work. So top three after pit stops in LMP2, Terry Crouch, Flo Doms, Ryan Flanagan, and then Chris Gennarelli. Gennarelli taking a look to the outside on cold tires. I don't know if that's the wisest of moves. You gotta be careful, gotta get heat back in these tires before you can really start to push. Here comes Sean Roberts, though. He's on hot tires. In fact, he's on hot tires and not ready for a pit stop just yet. See him come down here in another 6 laps, maybe 5. Pretty consistent, though, between Crouch and Flo Doms. The top two were separated by just over 6 seconds before the pits. Now it's about 5.8 after Terry loses a little bit of time trying to get around the GT car. Watching the battle for P3 here, Ryan Flanagan, Chris Gennarelli. Good exit for Gennarelli, a little bit better for Flanagan. Second and third having to contend with the GT car as well. Breaks up this battle just slightly. No doubt it's going to heat back up here momentarily. But Flanagan still maintains the third spot. Checking back on things in GT, it's still Mike Hamlin, and he has started to increase his lead now over Dave Seats. Remember, Dave was leading and he lost the car, didn't get into anything. Certainly lost a ton of track position. He's still 3.8 seconds behind race leader Mike Hamlin. Battle with Campbell, and I think it was Calvin Levy early on. That is all but dissipated. Hellier still running in third. He made his pit stop at lap 9. He is all over the back of Dave Seats. Is that Dave Seats? Now I'm confused. Who's he fighting here? It is Dave Seats. Oh, almost some contact right there. Just a couple inches off that back bumper. Drives it in deep. Good couple of corners for David Seats there through the chicane. Stayed on the throttle just a tick longer than Hellier. Able to carry that braking through the chicane nicely, get that Mercedes to corner. Get a little bit of breathing room, though not much between himself and that BMW. As it's back to start finish here as we get past halfway. 31 minutes down, 28:50 to go. Hellier right there once again. I got to think that Dave Seats is just kind of holding up this BMW right now. That's kind of why we do this EOL thing. You send the driver to the back. He's got to cut through the field to get back towards the front as there is a Mercedes off. I think that's Jesse Redding. Indeed it is. He gathers it back up and continues on. Back to the battle for second. Playing it cool in behind Dave Seats, but I just got to imagine his patience is going to run thin here soon enough. They've only got about 3.5 seconds up to Mike Hamlin, but Hellier's got to get by this Mercedes if he's going to run down Mike Hamlin and contest for this win in GT. He's got to get by. I know he doesn't want to move him. Both drivers awfully fast. Hellier did run about 3.5 tenths faster the last time by. Into the chicane once again. Seats and Hellier pretty equal through there this time. Seats is going to rely on that power of that Mercedes to drive out. The other side of the coin is you got to wonder if Hellier is sitting in behind this Mercedes for a particular reason. I mean, Dave's no slouch. He's got good pace. Hellier might be faster, but maybe he's trying to save some fuel to sit there in the slipstream of that Mercedes. BMW, not the most aerodynamic platform out there. Get the Mercedes to punch the hole in the air for you, it helps a little bit. Interestingly enough, through this battle, these two have been going at it here. They have gained about 3/4 of a second on race leader Mike Hamlin. while continuing to fight. Again, Elliott hasn't been very aggressive in that aspect, so that's a good thing, but if they can run together the way that they are and still reel in Mike Hamlin, why bother trying to push the issue right now? With Elliott Elliott up through turns 16 and 17 of Blanchimont. Seats just gets out of the chicane a whole lot better than the BMW does. And what was just a few inches between second and third place in GT is now extended to about 3/4 of a second. So they roll back through Eau Rouge. Travis Stevens may have just crashed recently. Let's take a look and see what happened here. Through Eau Rouge. Ooh, just gets it sideways. Big time impact. May have crashed. Oh, he definitely crashed. That was a big one. Is he gonna drive it away here? Looks like he is. Not good for it. Curious if he made a pit stop or not. I'm gonna go with not. Still pretty heavy damage to the nose of that Porsche. Back out front, we'll check on Terry Crouch again, still maintaining about 5 seconds over teammate Flo Dobbs. Both drivers down the Kemmel straight. Interestingly enough here, noticing that Kevin Blue did not take the green flag. I don't know how he missed that. Ran about 3/10 of a lap and then called it a day. Let's try to cycle back through if I can find anything here with the 54 of Kevin Blue. Just not seeing it. Which is a bit of a surprise. Kevin Blue, a pretty big fan of Spa. So with that, we're going to take an HBR TV side-by-side break a little bit early. Hopefully we can catch some of these GT pit stops before we have to do too many commercials here. But stick with us. You won't miss a minute of the action. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Sgarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Spa, and once again, the top three in GT going at it. Mike Hamlin had a pretty significant lead, about 4+ seconds over these two, Dave Seats and Elliott Hellier. Well, they're all together once again as we approach the time for more pit stops in GT. Saw Gabriel Crozier have an incident once he got past these three drivers. Looks like he's going to have to do it all over again. Dave Seats hard on the brakes into the chicane. That seems to be his best place on the racetrack. Doesn't matter who he's up against. Seemed to gain ground over Elliott Hellier and certainly close the gap on the equal strength Mercedes in front of him and Mike Hamlin. Those setups may vary. Top three stay on the racetrack. Gabriel Crozier still in the rearview mirror of all three of these drivers up through Eau Rouge, ready on. Seats looking to the inside, had a bit of a slipstream, best run through Radion. Inside still there into this final corner down the Kemmel Straight. Meanwhile, the LMP2 takes care of all three of them, but the lead has changed in GT. Dave Seats takes the spot from Mike Hamlin. What a brazen move by Crozier. Big time aggression move out of Dave Seats as well. Did a nice job out braking Mike Hamlin into the corner. So now how long will it be for Elliott to make the pass on Mike Hamlin? Or will he bother at this point? Again, we got about 15 minutes to go. Pit stops forthcoming for all three of these GT drivers, I'm assuming. 45% fuel load. I think it's going to guarantee a two-stop race for these guys. Little wiggle on the brakes with Hamlin. Terry Crouch working his way back through. Squeezes by Dave Seats. So approaching the 15 minutes to go mark here. I'm curious to see Dave Seats and the like, these GT drivers come down pit lane for their final stop of the afternoon. Or in this case, the morning. They stay on track. Oh, maybe not. Pulling down into the pits. Almost seemed like a late decision for Dave Seats, but he comes down as well as Mike Hamlin and Elliott Hellier alike. All three of these drivers in the pits. We'll see who does what as far as tires are concerned. I'm going to go with none. No fresh Dunlops on these cars, just fuel. Dave Seats drops the jack. He takes off. He's going to exit side by side with Hellier, it looks like. Well, this is going to be interesting. Seats just goes. Hellier is kind enough to let him go. So that's all right. We'll work on this. We got 14 minutes to go. You got to keep me behind you. That's your problem. Ought to be good. Dave Seats, Elliott Hellier, your top two. Mike Hamlin exits the pits. He's a little bit of a ways back. 1.8 seconds. Hellier looking to the outside already. Seats has the position. Through Malmedy. Exiting the corner, down the hill into Ravage. Oh, Elliott is all over, trying to get in the mirror of Dave Seats. Elliott's really trying to just get in the mirrors, get in the head, and David Seats trying to force a mistake. He may have the pace to make this pass, but if he can make it easier on himself, force a mistake out of the Mercedes, that could work out better. Following up on the Kevin Blue issue, he could not take the green flag, had an issue with the hardware, problem with the steering wheel, couldn't get it to work properly. Fortunately, not going to take the green flag for a single lap in race competition tonight. Tough break for Kevin. Dave Seats back into that chicane. It's been so strong all day long there. Chris Generelli in the pits. His final stop of the day. I'm going to make that assumption right now. Back out front, Dave Seats starting to put a gap on the Elliott Hallier machine. Thinking back to the preseason race, don't quote me on it, but I am pretty certain I think Dave Seats may have won the race here at Spa. Kevin Blue can tell me that for sure. Approaching the 10 minutes to go mark. David Seats still with the race lead. Meanwhile, through the cycle of pit stops, Flanagan is now your race leader. Chris Pio runs second. They still need to make their pit stops before this one is all said and done. Terry Crouch runs third presently. Oleg Vorotnik runs fourth. Still needing to make a pit stop. Flo Dom is running fifth. Pit stop complete for Flo. So keep an eye on that battle. Speaking of battles, though, we cannot take our eyes off this GT fight for the top spot. Dave Seats put a gap on Elliott for a little bit, but not anymore. Right there is the BMW, just a couple of feet off the back bumper of the Dave Seats Mercedes as they exit the chicane. 10 minutes to go. Dave's got his hands full. He's really going to have to work hard to keep that BMW in his rear view. Last time by, Dave Seats ran a 2-minute 18.42 second lap. Elliott Hallier almost a full second, we'll call it 3/4 of a second faster. Still not able to make the pass on the racetrack, but definitely quicker behind that Mercedes, at least for the time being. If he gets by, I would have to imagine he'd be able to gap him. He's taking a look now again. Nope, just getting in the mirrors, and Dave Seats one more time forces him to take a defensive line here. Exit Ravage, left-hand turn 9. Hard acceleration down the hill into turn 10, the Buhan corner. This one is so tricky. You take it so much faster than you think you can. Double apex corner. Meanwhile, Ryan Flanagan from the race lead, he hits pit lane. Don't want to go too far off this battle. Maybe some contact, and Hellier's in the wall. I don't know if Hellier got into the Mercedes or not, or if he was just checking up hard to avoid contact, but he tank slapped, had to correct, and it sent him right into the tire barrier. That machine with some significant damage. Tough break. Dave Seitz has got to be breathing a sigh of relief here as he gets his heart rate under control. That was a tough one for Elliott, though. Let's take a look at it again. From the blimp, corner exit. Tough to see with the trees. Chopper cam will do it. Oh, it was a little bit of a wiggle on the Mercedes. A little oversteer. He corrected, which slowed his pace, I'm sure, and Elliott was right there. I want to look at this right from Elliott's perspective here. Bear with us here, the in-car camera view. Let's see how it looked full speed for Elliott Hellier. Watch now from the roof. When you run on the razor's edge, sometimes those things happen. Tough break. We don't get to see that fight continue here, but with about 6.5 minutes remaining, Dave Seitz enjoying a 3.8 second advantage over second place Mike Hamlin. Meanwhile, through the cycle of pit stops, the top two are once again Terry Crouch and Flo Doms at LMP2. Something had to give with those GT cars. It was just a matter of time before either a pass was made or something like what we just witnessed happen. It's a tough break for Hellier. Again, having to start in the back, you got to work your way through all that traffic. He did a fantastic job getting his way up into that top three and then fighting with Dave Seitz after the pit stops. And from at least my perspective, it looked like a tiny bit of oversteer for Dave Seitz. He may have lifted and then turned left to correct it, but the same token, Elliott Hellier had a ton of momentum. He had a big run out of the corner, was probably going to be set up for a pass at the next braking zone, but unfortunately, no room for that margin of error. Makes contact and puts himself into the barrier. Under 5 minutes remain here from Spa, PFR Sports Car Series. Terry Crouch, the overall leader. Flo Dom starting from the rear of the LMP2 category up in the second spot. Dave Seitz continuing to lead over Mike Hamlin and Rob Campbell now in the top three. So it's Mercedes, and Porsche. And if you are just joining us here, under 4 minutes remaining, you missed an incredible battle with GT cars. Dave Seitz and Elliott Hellier just recently, those two making a little bit of contact. Hellier ending up in the barrier, ending his day early, unfortunately. It was a great battle for quite a while. Really throughout the course of the race, we watched all three of the GT category in the top three fighting for those positions at one point or another. Ryan Flanagan, third in LMP2, dispatching some GT traffic. Had a good start to this one here. Took the lead early from Terry Crouch. Didn't hang on to it for too terribly long. I'm sure it was fun while it lasted, but then unfortunately got a spin. Didn't get into the fence, damaged the race car, but certainly lost a ton of track position. Sean Roberts back in the 8th spot. Ryan Flanagan trying to get through some GT traffic as well. As is Terry Crouch. It never ends. You're the faster class. You got to deal with the slower traffic. It's just the name of the game in class racing in sports cars. Calvin Levy in that green Porsche still out there trucking along even with the nose damage. Oh, Jesse Redding off the racetrack, almost pulls out in front of some more GT traffic. Looks like that was Powell and maybe Tucker. Batista and Tucker. Under 2 minutes remain. Terry Crouch still the race leader. This might be the final lap. I'm not sure if he got there in time to get the white or if he's going to have to go one more time around. Terry Crouch been so smooth all day long. Still the battle for the top spot in GT. Not much of a battle. Dave Seats still hanging on to a 4.5 second advantage over Mike Hamlin. Hamlin led some laps early on as well. White flag waving for the Mercedes of Dave Seats, which means it's likely already waved for Terry Crouch. Terry Crouch is typing in the stream chat while he's driving. Guy's a machine. Terry Crouch into the final right-hander. Looking for a checkered flag. So there it is. Checkered flag waves. Terry Crouch wins at Spa. Looks like Ryan Flanagan just recently got by Flo Doms. Don't know if there was an issue there. Looks like Flo may have gone off the racetrack, give up the second spot. Final corner for Flanagan. He's going to sneak away with his runner-up finish. Let's see what happened here with Flo Doms just a moment ago. He's already off. Already lost the spot. Not sure what happened there, but nonetheless, Flo Doms going to take the third spot. Dave Seats down through about half a lap to go before he sees the checkered flag. Still with a 2-second advantage over Mike Hamlin. Hamlin has closed the gap considerably here. I'm not sure if Dave Seats made a small mistake. He's just trying to take care of it. Chris Pio going off the race course. Dave Seats into the chicane. 1.8 seconds, still pretty comfortable out front. Right-hander for Dave Seats back to the pit straight. straight. Checkered flag in the air. For a moment, I was worried Dave gave up the ghost a little bit too early there as he crosses the stripe first over Hamlin, but not by a wide margin. 0.3 of a second to be exact, with Dave Seats your race winner. What a race here from Spa. We're going to jump out, get a final break out of the way, and get our race winners in the HBR TV booth after this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, round 4 of the PFR Sports Car Championship. Terry Crouch with another race win. Let's pull him into the broadcast booth and get a word with our LMP2 winner, Terry Crouch. It's Steve in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got a different mic. Am I all right?
Yeah, I'm just turning you up now. We'll turn the music down just a bit. I got you. Go ahead there, Terry. Congratulations on the race win, man. You pretty much led this from lap 2 on. Let's talk about the start with yourself and Sean Roberts. Did he just get the jump on you? Did you let him go? Did you want to get heat in the tires first? Walk us through that first lap.
Well, he wanted to get the jump, and I know Sean can drive pretty aggressively at the start, so I didn't want to go through Eau Rouge and Radillon side by side on lap 1, on cold tires. So I just lifted, fell in line, and figured I'd trust my pace the rest of the race and just wait for my shot, and that's kind of what happened.
Well, it certainly was a pace race for you. You stayed out front for the majority of the race. Never really got to see you battle with Flo, as he had to start at the back of the pack. He did work his way up into that top 3 in second spot and ended up finishing 3rd. But when are we going to get an opportunity to watch you two guys go at it? We watched a little bit of it at Monza, but it's either you or him winning lately, so you're kind of starting at opposite ends each week.
Yeah, I mean, this one was pretty close because I don't think I could get a clean lap the entire first half. I don't know what happened to the GTs. They were so spread out that every single lap I was catching traffic at the absolute wrong spot, and I've never yelled at my steering wheel that much, trying to be patient and just like, come on. And then I see Flo catch me a second and a half, 2 seconds. I thought he was going to get me just from the way traffic fell. And then as the race went, I started being a little more aggressive, but I didn't want to, send it on guys after they committed that I was starting to poke my nose into braking zones and just doing all I could to keep that gap on Flo, because I know if he got to me, I was in trouble.
Well, certainly an entertaining race, especially on the GT side. You kind of ran away with it, but again, it wasn't an easy run as you've made it seem. Congratulations again on the race win. Next week, we roll out to Fuji, actually a relatively new racetrack for the iRacing sim. Do you have any experience out there yet?
Yeah, I raced, won a league race in there in GTEs, so I'm kind of used to that style, but I think they put the chicane in for this, because otherwise without the chicane there's that one right-hander near the end of the course that's just really funky, especially in multi-class, but I'll have to double check that because the chicane actually helps slow you down and not cause as many accidents. So I feel good about it, but again, it's back of the pack. At least Fuji has that long straight to try and pass guys, and in the back section, the twisty bit, you can get stuck behind guys, so just got to try and avoid incidents and get points.
Well, if my memory serves me correct, we're running without the chicane at Fuji. Again, I have to double check now too, because now you got me doubting myself.
Yeah, I mean, if it's without the chicane, then that corner, that right-hander where the chicane would be, becomes really sketchy at speed. And it was in GTE cars. I can't imagine GT3s will probably be all right, but you start getting multi-class battles there. It'll be entertaining. It'll be good for you. You'll be busy.
Faster is thinner.
Exactly, and then there's grass out there where you push somebody out and it's over.
Well, Terry, again, nice job on the win here tonight at Spa. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
The wife and the daughter were in the stream chat. Looks like it. And my team. It sucks to see what happened to Elliott. Flo did great. Corey looked like he got out early. I almost hit him at some point in the race when he was sideways. But TLDR and sponsors GSI, and you guys, you always, these are so fun. Even if I think your mic's weird in Discord again, but good in the stream.
Oh boy, here we go. All
yeah,
right.
we got the alien stuff going on.
That's a wonderful thing. Well, Terry, thanks for talking to us, man. Good run and good luck next week.
Thanks, brother.
It's Terry Crouch, your race winner here from Spa and LMP2. Next, we're going to pull GT driver, GT3 that is, into the broadcast booth. It's Dave Seats. Dave, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Dave, congratulations, man, on the race win in GT. It was an amazing battle, really, all race long between yourself, Mike Hamlin, Elliott Hellier. At one point, actually a couple of points, all three of you guys battling for the same real estate. Came down late between yourself and that BMW. Walk us through what happened in the incident with Elliott. It seemed like you might have had a little bit of an oversteer, slight tank slap, and then he was right there with nothing to do and got into you. Is that how it looked from your perspective?
Yeah, I went back and looked at the replay to see what happened, and I think the Merc was running less wing than all the other cars in the group, because we definitely had the straightaway speed, but it looked like he got the nose of his BMW so close to the back of the car that it just took all the air off coming into that corner, and it got a little loose. And when I pedaled it to catch it, he was right there and got into the back of me, so feel bad for him. Like, we had a hell of a race going, but just was a little moment of too much track or power, not enough tire.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you're racing race cars inches apart. If anybody makes the slightest of mistake, things unfortunately can happen very quickly, sometimes too fast for anyone to react to it. It was a great one to watch, though. Again, watching all three of you guys fight it out at one point or another, that was fun. But then, of course, later on in the race between yourself and Elliot Hellier, you held him off. You took the race win here. You're going to have the penalty going into Fuji next week. Walk us through your feelings about that racetrack. I know it's relatively new here on the sim, but how do you feel about it?
It's a fun track. It's going to be difficult. I'm going to definitely have to pick a car that suits that track well. The Merc is probably not said car. There's too many low traction events, but it's a fun track and it's got a really nice long straightaway, so we'll see what happens. You know, at the end of the day, we're still points racing, so just got to get what we can and not throw it away.
That's all you can do, Dave. Again, congratulations on the win here at Spa. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
You know, you guys up in the broadcast booth for putting on a great show. Kevin for putting on the leagues. It gives us a place to go race. And then my sponsors, Mishmash Gaming and Full Send Graphics.
Real quick, too, it looks like you've got a special paint scheme on that car tonight. You want to tell us about that?
I do. Got the autism awareness paint on the car for the race this week. Just trying to get the awareness out there because a lot of people, my son included, deal with autism, and just try to make people aware that those social interactions and things like that, it's not meant to be harmful or rude or anything like that. It's just the way they are, and by degrading them or anything like that, it's making it worse. It's not helping the situation. So and there's a lot of people, as the testing goes out, more and more people are finding out that those things that they did when they were young or their kids are doing, that's a form of autism. It's such a big spectrum. So
it really is the case, Dave. If you really think about it, I think every single one of us can probably land on that spectrum on some form or fashion. Maybe not severe, maybe just kind of high functioning, I guess you will look at it that way. But it's nothing to put somebody down about, certainly. But autism awareness, Autism Speaks, all of that, certainly good causes, something to talk about here. And nice job putting on the car. And it was even the sponsor for tonight's race. Again, it was the Autism Sprint to Awareness 200. So nice job bringing the sponsors' colors into Victory Lane tonight.
Thanks, man.
Congratulations, Dave, and good luck next week.
Sounds good. Thank you.
It's Dave Seats, your race winner in GT3. That's going to wrap it up for our interview portion of tonight's race. Let's take a look first and foremost at our race results in LMP2. Get them to pull up here. Terry Crouch, of course, your race winner. Ryan Flanagan was second. Flo Doms came home in the third spot. Chris Pio was fourth. Oleg Vorotnik was fifth. Chris Generelli sixth. James Koulibaly was seventh. Sean Roberts eighth. Gabriel Crozier ninth. Brandon Domain finished in the 10th position. 11th finisher, that went to Andrew Locke. Early issues for Andrew. Got it wadded up, I think, through, I want to say Eau Rouge now, I can't remember. But either way, an early end for Andrew Locke, but not as early as Kevin Blue, unable to make the green flag with some hardware issues with his wheel. Moving over to GT3. Dave Seats, of course, your race winner. Mike Hamlin, Rob Campbell, the top three. Josh Heggie was fourth. Rob Henry finishes in the fifth spot. Daniel Clark sixth. Travis Stevens was seventh. Brian Zinn finishes in the eighth spot. Ninth went to Calvin Levy. Nick Batista was 10th. There's no way that's going to wrap up everybody. There we go. 11th is Joe Tucker. Mike Piazza was 12th. Drew Prell was 13th. 14th went to Dalton Powell. Jesse Redding was 15th. 16th, a tough break for Elliot Hellier, in position for possibly a win, if not a P2 finish. We saw it in that final replay. Contact with Dave Seats put him in the barrier. Out of this one, 5 laps shy of the overall finish. 17th was Corey Maxim, rounding out the field 19 laps down. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in and watching here tonight. Spa is always a favorite place to call these races at. It's fast, it's high-paced, but there always tends to be some action on every portion, any portion of the racetrack at some point or another. Also looking forward to next week at Fuji Speedway. Tune in for that here, of course, on HBR TV next Tuesday, 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you haven't already done so, give us a like, a follow, a share, a subscribe on youtube.com/@HBRTV1. Also, check out the website, HBRTV1.com. Thanks for watching, everybody. Congratulations to Dave Seats and Terry Crouch, your race winners here tonight. We'll see you next week, folks. Have a good night.